But those mushroom girls, though.
How much of it have you watched?
That was the last episode I watched.
Okay. Dude, the mushroom girl. I'm going to talk about that in today's episode. Dude, the mushroom girls. That was fucking ridiculous. Dude, there is titties galore. And I can also understand. I'm like, okay, I get it. Mm-hmm. This is a pretty on-the-line hentai. This is basically hentai. This is hentai.
Hey, welcome back to Anime Casuals. I'm Lucky.
Here I go! This hand of mine is burning red!
And I'm Michael. Realize the only ones who should kill are those who are prepared to be killed.
Johnny. Your darkness swallowed up my son? Who decided that?
Erupting! Burning!
Now all of you.
Die.
One.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Anime Casuals. I am Lucky.
I'm Michael.
I'm Johnny. And we make up Anime Casuals. Welcome back to the casual discussion where we talk about discussions and we do it casually. So yeah, that's basically what we do. And there goes Johnny. And so today we're going to be talking about moments that kind of unimmersed us. Just unimmersion in general is a very I think it's one of the biggest problems with some anime is just, you know, you're watching it, all of a sudden you're unimmersed, then you don't care about the characters, you don't care where the story is going, you don't really care anymore. And so unimmersion is a really big thing. And Michael, since you brought this up, why don't you go ahead and start us?
So I'm going to start with my very first one, and that is Dragon Ball Z. You know, actually, weirdly, last episode we talked about a lot about Dragon Ball Z, right? Characters looking stupid. And this moment it did make me stop watching Super. It made me stop watching Super for about 6 months until the English dub caught back up. I took the risk. I watched DBZ in Japanese, and I was like, I'll just deal with it. You know, I'll just be okay with it. And I just want to get the story. And then this scene came up, and it was like 80 episodes in. I was like, no, I'm done. This is dumb. This is not Dragon Ball Z. And it was a stupid baseball scene. It was just so dumb. It was like after a big arc where I was like, oh yeah, this is actually pretty cool. I'm invested. And then they just played baseball for 20 minutes. And I was like, and this was like fresh off of, I think, the Vegeta Goku meeting the android girl from Dr. Slug. And I don't remember what her name is, but it was from the other work that the writer for DBZ has done. And then they have a baseball scene about halfway through Dragon Ball Super, maybe like a quarter way through at this point. And I just didn't care. I'm like, why do I care about Goku and all these superpowered freaks playing baseball? Like, I want to see you fighting. And it reminded me weirdly of the Kobayashi, Miss Kobayashi's dodgeball scene. But that one was fun. It was like, hey, let's watch some dragons play dodgeball against humans. And then they were like, well, we kicked your ass, so let's play against each other because that's way more exciting. And they're just having fun. Well, it seemed like the baseball scene for these people was just like, hey, we can't think of a good idea to put in here. Fill it up with some baseball, because baseball is pretty big in Japan. So I was not into it. Made me stop watching because it was like 3 episodes of filler, and I just didn't care at all. It absolutely pulled me out of the anime. It was not very Dragon Ball Z-like for them to play like baseball, at least for me. It just seemed out of character.
I'm trying to think of like past filler that they've had, and they don't really have too much filler.
No, and that was the thing.
You can't even compare it and say like they should have done this.
No, it was just like I wish the episode disappeared, because like when it started, I was like, okay, like 2 minutes of baseball, why not? Because that's what was in Miss Kobayashi's. It was like half an episode was dedicated to dodgeball. So I'm like 10 minutes. But this was 20 minutes of a baseball scene. I was like, nah, it extremely pulled me out. So that was not quite on target when I was thinking of this topic. Like, I was thinking of a moment that pulled you out of the episode. But this is a moment that pulled me out of a series. Like, it made me hard stop it. Johnny, like, do you have anything equal to that?
So wait, you said like a little android girl. Is that like Arale? Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah, from Dr. Slug, right?
Little pink one. She has pink and she has like glasses. And she's incredibly strong.
That was not the same episode, obviously, because I think that was I don't remember where in Super it was, but I'm pretty sure it was like earlier on in Super where it had that scene where she cracks the earth when she was fighting like
Okay.
Vegeta. That was pretty funny, but we don't put all of it back to back together. Like drop it somewhere in the middle. Like in Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z, he meets Adelaide is what you call her. That was her
Adelaide,
name?
yeah,
Adelaide?
A-L-A-L-E, I think.
Yeah,
Something like that.
He met her.
Adele?
He met her in DBZ at some point, like when he was traveling around, and it was a very small thing. It was just like, "Oh, you're strong, I'm strong," and then they moved on. It was like a nice short thing. But yeah, that the filler that she was in Super was not as grotesque as like the baseball scene.
Thanks for that J-Stars game, Johnny. That's how I know her.
J Stars.
J Stars.
Man, I mean, honestly, I've been trying to think of like one, and I don't have a moment that has pulled me out of an anime, at least that I can think of.
Maybe just like
I mean,
made you go,
something kind of along the lines of like sometimes I can't get into anime. I mean, I don't know, just go like adjacent with it, just so I am involved. Sometimes I can't really get into anime if the animation is just not good. It even happens sometimes with just older anime, which I know is kind of like, but that's the good stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I can dedicate to it, but it's hard for me to just like binge something. So, I don't know. Yeah, just sometimes animation style. I mean, for that matter, another newer one is like Knights of Sidonia. It was just a hard 3D to watch. And, yeah, it was just slow and choppy, and there's still a lot of things on Netflix that have that problem. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's my adjacent.
I was gonna say, I mean, to touch on Knights of Sidonia, if you've never seen it, if you've seen Dragon Prince or some of these like newer 3D, like sometimes they're pretty choppy. And I think we watched at least the first episode together, and they have like an Evangelion-esque monster that comes out. That's like, oh, look at this crazy space thing we got to fight with our robots. And then it was like, and it was like super moving so slow. And it was like, what? Like it's every action is like skipping 3 frames. And it was like, while it looked really cool, it would like, it pulled you out of that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, like that's totally within our topic. Mr. Nua, like, can you explain to us what's going through your head right now?
Yeah, and actually, I had to edit a video for Johnny where he had mentioned Knights of Sidonia, and the best way I can describe it, Knights of Sidonia is like it's like you're trying to take a crap, but you're constipated, but you know it's a good one. You know it's a good shit. You know you're gonna take a good shit, but it's just not coming out the way you want it to. So it's just coming out in little spurts, like duh, duh, duh. That's basically what Knights of Sidonia is. I don't remember a whole lot about it. I just remember there's a bear doctor nurse thing, and yeah, I don't really know too much about it. But this is one that you and I have watched, Johnny, and maybe you can relate to it. Is Rent a Girlfriend. So Kazuya. So everybody knows my pet peeve is loser guys that have a harem around them because they're losers and they shouldn't have a harem around them. Kazuya. I got really annoyed at him for so long, and it actually made me stop watching for maybe 3 or 4 episodes, so about a month, because he's such a loser. He is, and also like I think the worst part about him is he's always making people feel sorry for him. So then they feel sorry for him, and then these incredible women who, you know, I can't remember her name right now. I think it was like. Kazuhara. It was the main character girl.
Okay.
Yuzihara, I think her name is.
Chizuhara?
Yeah. So, I think her name is Chizu, and her first name is something like that. But anyway, she's always basically every time he's down in the dumps, she's like, "All right, I guess I'll come back." I'm like, bro, this is not how you get women. This is not how it's supposed to happen. Like you're teaching guys to be simps is basically what you're trying to do, and it's infecting our culture. Twitch is rampant with them. We can't have this. And so yeah, I got really unimmersed for a while, and then what brought me back in was obviously the girls. The girls were great because they're all actually they have their stuff together. You know, the main character is trying to like be an actress. She's trying to do her thing. This guy's a freaking loser, man. Like one freaking girl breaks up with him, and all of a sudden, for some reason, every time she says something, he like just lets her do whatever she wants to him. You know, she kisses him, and he's actually
not in a fun way.
Yeah, he's supposed to be in a relationship with the girl that he rents, but everybody thinks that he's with her, and he just cheats on her. Like, right? He just does that, and it's like, bro, this girl's a freaking bitch, and you just let her do that. You just let her kiss you. You just let her keep you in that freaking house, that freaking pig pen of guys that she's just messing around with, man. Like, what is wrong with you, man? Have some self-respect. But yeah, Kazuya is definitely yeah, he definitely made me leave for a little bit, and then I came back and I was like, shit, he's still the main character. So I just had to deal with it. Yeah, Michael, you got any? What else you got?
Okay, so continuing down, I actually had one that kind of went with Johnny's. It pulled me out a little bit. It was Overlord. They had these things called goats in, I think, the second or third season that were just like big black blobs with mouths all over them. And it's kind of the same thing that that Guts and Berserk go through. Guts is the character. Berserk goes through, where it's like it's just so bad. It's just such bad animation that I was like, wow, this is hurting my eyes a little bit just to watch. Like, this is the creature you saw. Like, I'm supposed to be afraid of this kind of badly made 3D blob. I mean, it would look scary if it would look better. So, I mean, like, I liked Overlord too much to have pulled me out of the series, but that was a moment where I was just like, oh, okay. I had a funny one. You know what pulled me out of the anime most is not getting a second season for No Game No Life. So if we could get a second season, I could get right back in the anime. I'm gonna be happy with that. Like, I think we can all agree that we could all get back in the anime.
2021.
And yeah, I want to be immersed in No Game No Life. And without a second season, I can't get more immersed into it. It makes sense, right? But my next one is from a movie. It's from an anime movie. And it was a moment that made me just go, oh, I'm watching a movie, and I hope this isn't canon. It's when it's spoilers for the new My Hero movie that's 6 months old at least this point. So cover your ears, but I don't care. Spoils. Bakugo gets all for one for like 5 minutes, and it completely. I was like, this is dumb.
One
for all. Yeah, no. He Three Musketeers, man. Come on. Yeah, he gets one for all. All for one. He gets all the villains' powers. Oh my god. Yeah, he shares it with Deku because like that transfer process didn't quote unquote complete. So like he could partially share it. Oh, it also wasn't very willful. He didn't want the power. Like there was all these excuses to make a really, really cool scene. Like it looked great, but it was also like, come on, guys, like just like the Dragon Ball Z movies and just like the Naruto movies, we don't, at least me personally, I don't want to watch something where you do something so cool, but I know this is not canon. Like, this has no impact on the manga. This has no impact on the anime. And it's just going to be like the One Piece movies as well, where it's like, hey, the thing happened we don't talk about and we don't remember. And it's like, okay. Yeah, are you doing something just to be a spectacle? Like the first My Hero movie was really cool. Like it had that moment with Deku and All Might, like trying to fight that crazy machine guy. It was all great. Like that was really cool. But like then you do this, and it's like, is this something that's gonna pop up in the future? Like, can we expect this to happen with Deku and Bakugo? Like now you guys can't do that. So I'm like, yeah, so it made me a little sad because I kind of, that's one of my theory crafting for later on My Heroes, that Deku has to give off All Might's power to somebody else because that just feels like it's in his personality.
Yeah.
But now they can't do that. Or at least now it'll be kind of lame when they do that.
Just not Bakugo.
Yeah, just not Bakugo. So yeah, that's my second one. I've got a long list, so I'll try to get through mine a little quicker.
So I actually did think of a couple. I broaddened my
Horizons,
if you will. My reality marble.
Would you say it's Horizon Zero Dawn?
No. Okay, so this one actually. So this was a moment in an anime that it pulled me out because of how shocking it was, and I just wasn't ready for it. And I was very much hoping for the opposite to happen. It's in Akame ga Kill. I don't know names, but here we go. It's when the chick with the glasses for Night Raid, who has the scissors. Wait, scissors? Yeah. Is fighting the other chick who has the dog, Kuro. And there's also the chick with the sniper named Pumpkin. I remember their weapons more, I guess. I don't know. But
Johnny was just hungry while he was watching that episode.
But that whole episode, they were building up this the chick with the glasses and the scissors, and I got so lost in that and like her because I liked her as a character. I was like, oh, she's so nice. She's gonna be a great person to watch in the rest of the series. That when she actually died, it like really threw me off, and I was like, whoa, what? What? No, what? And it's one of the only deaths that have done that to me, and yeah, I don't know. It kind of took me out of it. I was like, oh, that sucks. And I was a little bit sad to keep watching, but I got over it.
They did that thing like at Judy Tyson where they're like, hey, here's the backstory for this character. They're going to die.
Actually,
Okay.
that's another one that kind of pulled me. I was like, oh, you don't matter at all. Okay, good first episode.
Hey, look at this boar story. Look at this. Okay, she's gone. Okay, we're done with that.
Yeah, a lot of build-up. Good opener.
Hey, it teaches writers how to make a good backstory and then kill the character in like 20 minutes or less.
Great backstory.
Yeah.
Throw it away.
Dude, yeah, I mean that's it's definitely a really good one. I was just thinking about, when I was writing these down, I was like, okay, this kind of unimmersed me, but it unimmersed me, but I did go back in like right away because I did it for the music, which is Zombieland Saga. There was a really crappy CGI that happened in the third. I knew at least one of you was going to choose that too, so I don't really care. Anyway, in like episode 3 or something like that, they were playing in like a park or something like that, and all of a sudden, obviously they don't know how to dance. That's cool, but like walking. It literally looked like what are those like the top down ones where you like choose where people go, like RTS, is that what it's called, real time strategy?
XCOM or something.
Halo Wars.
Turn-based.
Yeah. So anyway, it looked like literally somebody was like telling them to go over here, and then they were like slowly going over there, and it was like, I'm here. All right, they'll slowly go over here. It's like, oh, I'm here. It was weird because not all of it is bad CGI. I mean, it's choppy sometimes, that's for sure, but yeah, it's definitely it's not terrible CGI, and the music's great. I really like the songs. Who can forget Awaken Returner, great epic song. But yeah, dude, all the music is great. That's what kept me in. It's kind of like with Kazuya, like he's a shit character, but like all the other characters just kind of kept me in. Well, the animation for one episode was pretty shit, and luckily they kind of kept with it. I kind of just wish that, and I know it's probably harder to do it, like to actually animate it than just do a CG rendering of like people actually dancing. And I get that, but at the same time, it's just like, man, dude, when you get that really crisp animation and you're just like, whoa, and like it literally makes you shut up for a second, like, the hell? It's okay. It's oddly like when you and your friends see a naked woman and you're like, whoa. It's like it's weird. Like everybody shuts up and they're just like, dude, do you see this? Like this is
you see what I'm seeing?
It's crazy, man. But that's gonna be mine. So yeah, what else you got, Michael?
Oh, I was actually gonna piggyback on that conversation because if you watch the dub for Zombieland Saga, that also might de-immerse you because they do this thing where they like speak in English, and because the songs are originally in Japanese, which is still why I think like My Hero and a bunch of newer anime are trying to put all their songs in English, so it's not odd in the dub because Japanese people can like understand the English because they're taught in school, English, while we're not taught Japanese here, which I wish we were. That'd be super cool.
No, we're better than that.
We're better than that. So they do this weird thing where they're speaking in English, and then suddenly they switch to Japanese to sing, and it makes it really, really odd, like from that angle. Like I think there's like an alleyway rap where there's like a bunch of like what looks like high school boys who are like, oh yeah, we're gonna hit up those ladies over there, and then they start like rapping, but they're talking in English, and then they suddenly rap in Japanese, and then they go back to talking in English like shortly after that. I'm like, just think how weird that would be if like some dude's like talking to you, and then suddenly he starts just singing in a different foreign language, and then he jumps back to English to talk to you again. It's like,
so you got to go big with that. Just know like 10 different languages and then just switch every like couple words.
Yeah. Real quick, mine, we've talked about Redo Healer too much, but the fact that he says heal every time he does anything bothers the crap out of me, and I think it's stupid. I will not stop watching it because you guys are watching it, and I'm enjoying the crap out of the silly ass story that's going on, and how he goes, "What? How do I solve this? I'll fuck it," and then he goes, "That worked."
Just like real life.
Yeah, but that's the one thing that took me out. I think the first 3 episodes is like where it was really blatant with him saying heal, and then he's like heal, and then like he goes, "I transform you into something." And he goes, "Heal! I summon a sword. Heal! I turn this potion into gold." It's like, okay, what does the word heal mean? I don't think you know what that means in English. I'm concerned.
I've changed it. Heal.
Yeah, that's all that heal means. It's just it's different in some way. Hey, heal! I stole your memories. It's like, what? Anyways, go ahead, John.
I do have one more actually.
Oh, good. I have like 10.
And I hated it. And hopefully in the future they will stop referencing it. When Seven Deadly Sins started doing power levels, it's just I don't know why I necessarily hate it, because I mean I don't hate it when Dragon Ball Z does it, even though they've completely abandoned that. But it's so silly. I don't know, to just throw that in now. I mean, it's unnecessary, and it's applying like power levels for no reason, just because, I guess. I don't know, to draw that line. But yeah, I don't know. Every time they talk about power levels in Seven Deadly, I'm like, no thanks. So yeah, that's my last one.
Nice. Yeah, that was definitely one thing where I was just like, okay, this is like, why are we doing this? Why do we need to know? Because the problem is once you include power levels, you have to stick with it. And then it becomes weird because you're not taking into account natural weaknesses, fire and water, all that kind of stuff. And it just gets to a point where it's just like, oh, I'm just so powerful. Now, granted, with somebody like Escanor, that makes sense, right? Like, of course, he's gonna like beat most people. But yeah, it was a really stupid thing. Piggybacking on what you said, Michael, actually, Redo of Healers got me a little bit unimmersed just because I become a little bit like bored with like how edgy this guy is. Like, I get it, dude. I don't give a shit anymore. Oh, you're having 3 ways every night. I don't give a fuck, man. Nobody gives a damn, dude. Just get the freaking revenge, man. I'm just here. I was basically here for the revenge story. The sex was like kind of the cherry on top, but also like a rotten cherry. Like they kind of left it out for too long. But it was still a cherry. You're just gonna take that off. You just mash that shit in with the Oreo milkshake and have at it. But it's getting a little much now, to the point where I'm like, okay, I don't really, to be honest with you, you could probably die at this point and I probably wouldn't give a shit. And that's saying a lot for me, because I actually was really into this character. I really liked him because of the fact that he needed revenge, right? I feel like he's done enough to warrant, hey, maybe we should just go after the people that I want to get revenge on instead of just taking my revenge out on everybody. And yeah, it's just getting a little bit too much for me in terms of, obviously, I mean, he's not a great guy. I understand what he went through. That's terrible. But
his vengeance is a little slower than I would have liked. So I mean, I kind of get that.
Yeah.
Dude, I like the moment in the last episode where he was like,
Too many bang breaks.
well, he's like, oh, that lady, I don't know if I could deal with her yet. I'm like, what are you talking about? You have the powers, like you have the power cosmic at your hand right now. Like, what's going on? You can't just go down there, swipe her head off real quick, and then be done?
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I was gonna say, because he has insta touch. Like, you just touch somebody and they're done. They can't do anything. And so yeah, he's also using aphrodisiacs to get people to sleep with him. All this kind of stuff. I was just like, all right, man, you're becoming. I feel like they kind of went with it, and they kind of I feel like they went with this edginess, and they were like, okay, we're just gonna go all the way and see what happens. The problem with it is that it's almost like inflated now. It's just you've made too much of it, so now it doesn't matter. Like, and if you don't deliver with the edginess in the next episode, then everybody's just like, what happened? Like, I remember Johnny had mentioned like, yeah, hey, what happened to? There's no sex scene in this episode. It was kind of like that. So it's almost like we become accustomed to it, and now you kind of have to build off of this extreme scenario and kind of go up from there. So. Yeah, I wish they had kind of gone a little bit more like Goblin Slayer, where they did it in the first episode, and then they had little bits of it. Obviously there was a sword maiden at one point where it was just like, oh yeah, like I got raped by goblins too. It's like, whoa, I forgot about that. That happened in the first episode. Oh, triggered. And so yeah, you got to get bits of it, but it's not always in your face all the time. So yeah, that would be mine.
interesting, Lucky, that you said Goblin Slayer, and we're talking about Redo Healer, which is funny because my next one is from the third of that list that was controversial, which is from Shield Hero. This almost I don't think Shield Hero is too interesting for me to have been pulled out, but all of the nasty stuff that happened to him at the beginning made me almost rage quit the anime because I was like, at a certain time, I like logic in a lot of stuff I watch. It's like, okay, does that make sense? And like, it made me almost feel for him more while I was watching. I was like, what are you talking about? There's no proof that anything happened besides the fact that she said it. And then they found a torn up lingerie there. It's like, why was there lingerie there? Like, that's not a nightgown. That was lingerie. It's like, so, I mean, and it was cut down the front. And she's not wounded, so like connect some dots. And then constantly the other two guys are just like, oh yeah, I guess that makes sense. Oh yeah, I guess that makes sense. It's like you don't even know each other. Like you're just basing things based on what somebody else you don't know is saying. And constantly, like while Shield Hero is going through, like when Raftalia is taken away from him and like the slave crest is cured, because and like there was obvious cheating going down on the one-on-one. There's so much stuff that happens that's just implausibly dumb that like is so evil that happens to him throughout it that made me almost get pulled out of the anime for how enraging it was, which just shows like really how good the anime was, because I think we were all talking about the first time we watched it that, you know, you gotta love to hate a bitch, and like that was a bitch to hate, to be honest. Like I've never hated a villain in an anime quite so much as her. Yeah, so that was my like brief moment of de-immersion. Another one was from One Piece, the pirate games. I know Johnny, like we've talked about that. You enjoyed the pirate games with the slow guy. It was an odd moment for me because like I've been invested in One Piece for a while, and that was like, what was I, like episode 300? It was really early on. That was just like, hey, there's this guy. You gotta play some games with him. Okay, we're done with that. Let's go. It was just an odd moment. It was very One Piece like, but it was odd. It was definitely odd for me. Do you guys have any more? Like, do you have a few more? Otherwise, I can run down like a few more of mine.
I don't.
Okay, so I'm just
Lucky
gonna,
and Michael, back and forth.
I'm gonna do this as briefly as I can because I made a whole video about it, which is fucking Boruto, bro. Piece of fucking shit anime, manga, whatever you want to call it, is like, it's like, I mean, I talked about it in my video, but I basically have now used the powers of my imagination to imagine a world where just Naruto and Hinata just, you know, they fucked, and then it was like, hey, we couldn't have kids. Oh well. And so that was basically what happened. That's all that happened. And now
sterile.
Now there are no fucking dude. Sci-fi is the worst thing that's ever happened to Naruto, man. It is one of the worst things that's ever happened to Naruto. Also, shitting on characters. The fact that all of these Jonins could probably be beaten by Kakashi, like when he had his Sharingan, is like saying a lot. Like Konohamaru sucks. All of his, you know, he's got his snot bubble guy. He sucks. Got the weird hair girl. She sucks. He tries to fight Soigetsu and like loses. And he's not even trying. Now, granted, Soigetsu is a lot stronger now, whatever. He's not using anything. He's just supposed to be like a swordsman. He's not even using any of the swords. And she can't even like make him take off his cloak. That's how powerful Soigetsu is compared to a Jonin. Whereas like, you know, we look at the Jonin back in the day, like they were taking on people in the Akatsuki, which I'm like, dude, these Jonin, like Konohamaru wouldn't stand a chance against any of the Akatsuki. I can't even think of any Akatsuki that he'd stand a chance against. Like the Akatsuki could take out the village. If they just took out Naruto, nobody'd be able to take on any of the Akatsuki. No, not a single one of them. Not Mirai, even though she could have been a great character. Not any of these freaking Hanabi is cool, but I mean, she's not doing anything. Yeah, all these characters, they all suck, and you all shit on my characters that I love just to bring up characters that I don't give a shit about. I said this in my Boruto anime, my Boruto video, so I'm just gonna leave it there before I get heated like I did. Oh my god,
we're here for you. We're here for you, buddy. God of High School. Spoilers. They turned into way too powerful characters, and that hell pulled me out. It was ridiculous. Again, God of High School, beautiful, amazing. I'm looking for more, but I got really confused when all that shit started happening, and I was like, I don't know where we're going. And And I'm going to mention one for Lucky, the tentacle scene from SAO. I don't know if I don't know if that was a pull-out moment for you, but it was a pull-out moment for somebody.
Dude, actually, funny enough, I do have another one from SAO, but it's basically it was season 2 because it took me so long to get back into it because I didn't give a shit because there was almost no stakes anymore because they weren't. If they died, they were just in a video game now. It's not like because they started hard, whereas like if you die in real life. It's like, oh my god, and then afterwards it's like, all right, now let's play the game, and there's like no stakes, and
fun.
And so I mean, granted, the very end of season 2 was really good. It it had not stakes so much, but it had a very good storyline to it that made me feel and all that kind of stuff. It's just really hard when you start off hard like that, and then you just end off like, I mean, that's cool. Whatever you want to, whatever you got, man.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. I guess my last two are just fans for some moments. One of them's not serious, so I'm just gonna throw it in as a joke. Is the boob bullet scene from High School of the Dead? I can't say that seriously though, because I didn't watch the entire anime. I just watched it when I did Johnny's video on, and honestly, it cracks me up every time I see it because I love seeing other people's comments about it. They're like, okay, let me calculate how fast her boobs must have been moving. Her boobs would have exploded if they were moving that fast. And it makes sense. I'm like, oh, whatever. But there was a few scenes in Fire Force that I got pulled out of the episode. Like, there's only a choice couple of scenes where Tamaki does her Lucky Letcher thing, which I think is funny. Now that Lucky Letcher is was it the dungeon only I can enter where that's an ability, and I'm like, oh, that's funny. I actually started watching that, so it's a pretty hilarious anime. But like there's a few choice scenes where Tamaki like slips and falls out of her clothing that aren't quite in line with what's happening. I think twice it was like during a pretty serious moment or fight where it's like, this seems like out of nowhere, not helping the episode. Like you broke the cool action scene to have her, be nude for a second. And then we went back to the action scene. Most of the other times it's really funny, especially like the time in the most recent season where that's literally her fight with somebody where she keeps like getting naked. And then he's like, oh, I can't deal with this. Like that was hilarious. But a couple of times it just pulls me out of the episode just going, do we need this right now? Is this like, that's again what we talked about early on, why we're all glad that she finally has some cool powers and is getting like pretty powerful. But like, are they going to do that in the next season? Like where it's like she's now powerful, but now she's still going to slip out of her clothing. I'm just worried about it.
She's going to own it and just sit on people's faces. No.
Hey, I got an idea. She can use her fire powers to put her clothing back on.
Fire clothes.
Fire clothes.
Oh my god. Yeah.
And I'm out. Go ahead, Luggy.
Yeah, just a real quick one. I don't remember a lot of this scene, but it was basically so this it kind of counts as an unimmersion, but it's basically when probably episode 3 or 4, it's like a couple of episodes where Subaru is just getting shit on. Like he keeps dying, and that's not the problem here. It's the problem. My problem is with the people at Rosewall's mansion where they're just like Amelia turns on him. She's like, I'm not like, I'm not suggesting you or anything, but you do know a lot, and all these people are just like shitting on him. Rem, actually, freaking Rem, she like stopped being my best girl after, because I kept hearing about the Rem best girl, all that kind of stuff. I was like, yo, she freaking killed this dude in another life. Like she wrecked him. Ram killed him. Like he blew up and all that stuff, and he's just getting shit on by these people in this mansion. I was like, okay, I'm gonna be honest with you, I would have left that fucking place. Like the minute I woke up, I was like, hey, thanks for all your help. See you later. Just let him die, dude. I mean, Rosewall, as we can see from like the most recent season, he's powerful enough as it is. Yeah, just use that. Luckily, I had binge watched it, but if I had, watched it every week, it probably would have taken me a while to kind of get back into it. And luckily, I knew a little bit about what was going to happen and that, Rem was going to get better. But yeah, it was really tough to watch. A little bit, a little bit kind of like Redo of Healer, where it's just like, oh my god, dude. Or like what you were talking about with Shield Hero, Michael, where it's just like, oh my god, this is there's so much rage I have. I can't stop this too much rage. But yeah, so that was our unimmersion, our moments of unimmersion in anime. If you guys want to let us know what your favorite unimmersion moments were, you can always email us at anime casuals with an S, real, REAL @gmail.com. And as always, you can check out all things casual at our link tree in the description box down below, which will have our links to Casual Bros, a podcast I do with my friend Paul, Generally Casual, a podcast that Michael does with his brother and brother Richard, and our friend Corey, Mental Health Casual, a mental health casual podcast. So there. And also you can check out if you're listening to this on podcasts, you can check out our YouTube channel. So as always, guys, do not forget to keep
it
casual.